New York City, early 1970s. The skyline still looks invincible. Skyscrapers slice the clouds. Wall Street hums with money and ambition. Broadway glows, selling dreams every night. This is the city that never sleeps. The city that always wins. But beneath the lights, something is breaking. Trash piles up on sidewalks. Subway cars are covered in graffiti, rattling like they might fall apart mid-ride. Crime surges. Fires rage through the Bronx. And quietly, dangerously, New York is running out of money. Not slowly. Not someday. Now. This isn't a recession story. It's a near-death experience. The Golden Machine. For decades after World War II, New York City felt unstoppable. It was everything at once. Finance, media, manufacturing. Millions of middle-class jobs filled factories, offices, and ports. The tax base was enormous and dependable. With that confidence, the city built big. Public housing projects rose across the boroughs. Hospitals expanded. Schools multiplied. The subway stretched deeper into the city's veins. New York didn't just function, it provided. Strong unions negotiated generous wages. Pensions promised security for life. Social programs expanded with optimism. And for a long time it worked. But prosperity has a way of hiding rot. Behind the success, New York built a system that only survived if growth never stopped. The slow bleed. By the late 1960s, the cracks widened. Factories began to leave. Manufacturing jobs moved to the suburbs, then overseas. Middle-class families followed, taking their tax dollars with them. The city's population shrank. Its responsibilities didn't. New York still paid for everything. But fewer people were paying in. Instead of cutting back, politicians chose the easier path. Borrow. Short-term loans. Long-term promises. Borrow to cover deficits. Borrow to delay pain. Each year, the hole grew deeper. And each year, no one wanted to be the one who said stop. By the early 1970s, New York wasn't borrowing to build. It was borrowing to survive. Creative survival. To keep the city running, officials got creative. Deficits were hidden inside semi-independent agencies. Debt was refinanced to pay older debt. Pension funds were quietly tapped. It wasn't solving the problem. It was rearranging it, like shuffling bills between credit cards and pretending it's a plan. For years, Wall Street played along. New York City bonds were treated as safe, almost untouchable. But eventually, investors asked the wrong question. Can New York actually pay us back? The honest answer was no. And once confidence cracked, everything moved fast. The cost of the vote. Mayors and unions made a silent pact. Delay the pain until after the next election. Keep services running. Keep votes coming. It wasn't corruption. It was politics. And it mortgaged the city's future, one budget extension at a time. The moment of truth. 1975. The numbers could no longer be hidden. New York City needed billions just to survive the year. Banks refused to lend. The bond market slammed shut. The city couldn't make payroll. Default, a word usually reserved for failed companies, suddenly applied to America's greatest city. No money for teachers. No money for police. No money for garbage collection. No money to keep the lights on. This wasn't abstract finance. It was daily life about to stop. It wasn't just New York's problem anymore. If the city fell, who was next? Philadelphia? Chicago? The entire municipal bond market, the lifeblood of American cities, held its breath. The call to Washington. City officials made the desperate call. They needed federal help. A bailout. Surely the U.S. government wouldn't let its largest city fail. They were wrong. President Gerald Ford said no. No bailout. No rescue. New York was on its own. Drop dead. Then came the headline. The New York Daily News, October 1975. Florida's city dropped dead. 5 words. Pure humiliation. It wasn't just a policy decision. It was a message. Fail, and no one is coming to save you. Markets panicked. Confidence evaporated. The city edged closer to the cliff. A city on the brink. Emergency measures followed. Thousands of city workers were laid off. Firehouses closed. Police patrols shrank. The subway deteriorated even faster. Entire neighborhoods were abandoned. The Bronx burned, literally. Landlords walked away from buildings. Arson became cheaper than maintenance. New York began to look less like a global capital and more like a failed state. And still, the money wasn't there. The financial lifeline. In a last-ditch move, the state created a rescue structure. The Municipal Assistance Corporation, MAC. Its mission was simple and brutal. Impose discipline. Budgets were slashed. Spending was frozen. Every dollar was scrutinized. Even that wasn't enough. So the city crossed a line. Pension funds were forced to buy New York's debt. Teachers, firefighters, police officers. Their retirement money was used to save the city. Survival at a brutal cost. The near miss. By the end of 1975, New York stood inches from default. One missed payment. One failed bond sale. One more refusal. Finally, reluctantly, the federal government stepped in. Not with generosity, with conditions. Loans. Strict oversight. Zero forgiveness. New York survived barely. The price of survival. The recovery was slow. Painful. Public services never fully returned. Inequality deepened. Entire communities were left behind. The city that emerged was leaner, harder, a magnet for global capital. Wall Street boomed. Luxury towers pierced the sky. But the social contract had been rewritten. The crisis stripped the city to its bones. And it was rebuilt in the image of finance. Not of the people who had called it home. The lesson. New York's near bankruptcy wasn't caused by one villain. No single fraud. No sudden crash. It was death by delay. By pretending tomorrow would fix what today refused to confront. Because when something looks too big to fail, people stop checking the math. Today, New York stands tall again. So do many cities, countries, and institutions that swear. This time is different. History whispers a warning. It never is. If you want more deep dives like this, watch what comes next, and like and subscribe.